Narrated Maimuna. Water was placed for the ablution of Allah's Messenger after janaba. He poured water with his right hand over his left twice or thrice, and then washed his private parts, and rubbed his hand on the earth or on a wall twice or thrice, and then rinsed his mouth, washed his nose by putting water in it, and then blowing it out, and then washed his face and forearms, and poured water over his head, and washed his body. Then he shifted from that place and washed his feet. I brought a piece of cloth, but he did not take it and removed the traces of water from his body with his hand. Narrated Abu Huraira. Once the Iqamah for the prayer was announced and the rows were straightened, Allah's Messenger came out, and when he stood up at his musalla, he remembered that he was junub. Then he ordered us to stay at our places and went to take a bath, and then returned with water dropping from his head. He said, Allahu Akbar, and we all offered the prayer with him. Narrated Maimuna. I placed water for the bath of the Prophet, and screened him with a garment. He poured water over his hands and washed them. After that, he poured water with his right hand over his left, and washed his private parts, rubbed his hands with earth and washed them, rinsed his mouth, washed his nose by putting water in it, and then blowing it out, and then washed his face and forearms. He poured water over his head and body. He then shifted from that place and washed his feet. I gave him a piece of cloth, but he did not take it and came out removing the water from his body with both his hands. Narrated Aisha. Whenever any one of us was junub, she poured water over her head thrice with both her hands, and then rubbed the right side of her head with one hand, and rubbed the left side of the head with the other hand. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, the people of Bani Israel used to take baths naked all together looking at each other. The Prophet Moses used to take a bath alone. They said, by Allah, nothing prevents Moses from taking a bath with us except that he has a scrotal hernia. So once Moses went out to take a bath and put his clothes over a stone, and then that stone ran away with his clothes. Moses followed that stone, saying, My clothes, O stone, my clothes, O stone, till the people of Bani Israel saw him and said, By Allah, Moses has got no defect in his body. Moses took his clothes and began to beat the stone. Abu Huraira added, By Allah, there are still 6 or 7 marks present on the stone from that excessive beating. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, when the Prophet Jabayeb was taking a bath naked, golden locusts began to fall on him. Job started collecting them in his clothes. His Lord addressed him, O Job, haven't I given you enough so that you are not in need of them? Job replied, Yes, by your honor power, but I cannot dispense with your blessings.